Hi guys, it's Erica from Brains to Beauty, and today I'm here to do a comparison review of two very popular, very new drugstore foundations that have been blowing up YouTube. I've got the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Pro Matte 24-Hour Wear and the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. So let's get started. Okay, to start off, I'm going to use my Cetaphil Oil Control Moisturizer. For me personally, for any foundation on the day-to-day, I like to use this. I do have the Murad version. The Murad version is like 10 times better, but I don't like to use it for everyday use because it's expensive. But for an alternative that I can use day-to-day that does a pretty good job, I use this guy. So I'm going to apply this all over my face. Next, I'm going to go in with a face primer. I am going to be using the Smashbox Photo Finish Oil Free Foundation Primer. This is the $10 travel size you get at the little pickup grab section of Sephora and Ulta. If you don't want to use a high-end, I really like the NYX Angel Veil. I did buy the Maybelline Baby Skin. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't tell you whether or not that's a good one. So I'm just going to apply this to the areas that I get oily, or I have really big pores, or areas that I tend to crease or wrinkle. Okay, next I'm going to be using my Real Techniques sponge. I don't like this as much as a beauty blender, but I have yet to buy a replacement, so we're going to use this guy. I do prefer using a sponge with both of these foundations. We're going to start off with Maybelline on the right and L'Oreal on the left, and let's get to applying. So my application methods are different for both of these. With the Maybelline, I make sure to shake it up, and here I apply it on my finger and then put it on my face. For the L'Oreal, I actually prefer to put it directly on the sponge. So both of these foundations are matte. The L'Oreal is a demi matte and the Maybelline is just matte. They're both medium to full coverage. And they're both buildable, but I'll be honest, I would not put 2 layers of this on if you have a lot of dry spots or if you have a lot of areas of creasing, because both of these tend to settle in the lines. I'll tell you right now though, the L'Oreal is worse about settling into lines than the Maybelline. For this, I am doing a second layer, but only like in my cheek area and a little bit in my forehead. I don't put it completely over, but I do blend it out all over. And I do it on my cheeks because I have a lot of freckling on this side of my face. I just realized the exposure is like way too bright. Let me adjust so maybe you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, you can kind of see a little bit better. I do have a lot of like little spots, little freckles. They're actually not freckles, they're dark spots. Like they're actual dark spots from living in Florida and being in the sun. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see them on camera, but you can still see them a little bit on my cheeks. This isn't totally full coverage that it completely covers that up. I can put a third layer on and it will cover it, but it will get very cakey, so I don't like to do that. I like to leave it kind of like this because I don't know if you can see, I know I don't have it completely zoomed in, but my eyes are creasing. So I'm going to go ahead and put the L'Oreal side so you guys can see how they are on coverage. I'm going to put it on the other side of the sponge, and I put it directly on the sponge. I just feel like with the squeeze bottle, it's easy to put it directly on the sponge. I would put the Maybelline directly on the sponge, but it's not as easy when you got to pour it out, because then you can end up like getting foundation everywhere. I will tell you though, the L'Oreal is definitely much more on the yellow side. It does definitely have a more yellow undertone to it, which for me is awesome because I have olive complexion. And I'll tell you right now, the L'Oreal has way more coverage. I didn't know that until just now. I've been using these foundations separate. This is the first time I've ever seen them side by side. I don't have to go back through like I did with the Maybelline, because it's already done the same coverage. Yeah, you can still see some of the red spots, but you can see the red spots on this side too. The coverage for the Infallible is definitely better than the Maybelline. I already knew that, but I didn't know by how much. I thought they were pretty spot on. but now that I'm seeing them side by side, L'Oreal definitely has way more coverage than the Maybelline. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I decided to go ahead and finish my face before finishing up the review. So let's go ahead and do a side by side comparison of the two foundations. So both of these are definitely matte foundations. I feel like even though this is supposed to be a demi matte, the L'Oreal, I feel like it's actually more matte than the Maybelline. I know this has the claim of matte and poreless. Neither of these are poreless. In fact, they both accentuate your pores, creases, fine lines. It's pretty bad. So you have to wear a primer with both of them. The Maybelline is not as bad at making your pores looking big. I feel like the L'Oreal is terrible about that. Like, it makes my pores look crazy. But if I wear a primer, it's fine. I can't see it. Everything looks great. It's actually pretty wonderful. L'Oreal wins out hands down. That 24-hour claim is pretty amazing because I've fallen asleep in this foundation and it has like totally lasted through a nap time. It's lasted through sleep. If you guys know me, I don't take up my makeup at night. When I get home after work, I'm exhausted, take care of the dogs, have dinner, spend time with my husband. I just crash hard, and removing my makeup has never been something I'm good at, and I'll wake up and my makeup will still be intact. I do get oily with both of these. I am very oily skin and I will get shiny throughout the day. The difference between these two with the L'Oreal, the oil will just push through and I can dab it and the foundation will stay in place. This will actually dissolve with the oil. So as I get oily, the foundation starts to dissolve and like just goes away. So after about 8-9 hours, I have like half my foundation on. Definitely like the L'Oreal better. One, it's easier to get the foundation out. You can measure it better because you can squeeze out the exact amount you need. It's thin and flat, so it packages really well into like a travel bag or into your purse. Of course, this is square and bulky, so this doesn't travel as nicely, and it's glass. Also, you have to pour it. I'm not a big fan of pouring, and like I showed you earlier, for this I have to put it on my finger and then put it on my face, because if I pour it, it's gonna be a hot mess, guys. L'Oreal definitely wins out with that. I can get a true medium coverage with one coat. I feel like to get a medium coverage, it's like a coat and a half for the Maybelline. And for full coverage, this is like 2 full coats and this is like a coat and a half. So ultimately, L'Oreal has better coverage. So with all those comparisons, and I may have forgotten something, can't think of anything at this point, I definitely vote for L'Oreal. But that's coming from an oily skinned girl. If you aren't as oily and you don't have that many problems, you might actually really love the matte and poreless. But if you're if your combination, you could probably get away with matte and poreless. If your combination, you actually might not like the L'Oreal because this does settle in fine lines, wrinkles, and it does accentuate pores and dry spots. Both of these cling to dry spots. L'Oreal's worse about it. But if you're an oily skinned girl like myself, L'Oreal is totally the winner. So that being said, that is it for my L'Oreal versus Maybelline. I am so excited. I love both of these foundations. I use them, I alternate with them every other day. Literally every other day I'm using one or the other because they're so amazing. I should probably use my other foundations and hold on to these for the summer. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry if this video was so long, but I was talking about 2 foundations and not just one. I wanted you guys to really get a feeling of both of the foundations and then see how they compared side by side. Because I don't know about you, I've been watching all the videos and all the reviews made me want both, but then I'm like, well, which one's better for me? And ultimately, I wouldn't be able to know until I tried out both. So I'm glad I got to compare them and I hope it was helpful. Of course, I'll try to keep all the details on my blog, which my blog usually goes up 2 weeks after the video. My bad. It's just how it goes. The videos tend to be more important, so they get prioritized and then the blog doesn't. So yeah, anyway, that is it. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I may have possibly forgotten some important details about these products. So of course, just let me know. And yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Erica from Brains to Beauty. Hey guys, it's Erica from Brains to Beauty, and today I'm here to show you how I curl short to medium hair. I know it's not truly short. I technically have medium hair because it does hit my collarbone, but for me, I totally consider it short. And it's completely changed. My whole hair care routine is different now that I have short hair. So let's go ahead and get started. So the curling iron I'm using today is this 1 1/4 inch curling iron, and I